you to our audience for being interested in this topic. 2021, Happy New Year, and a new beginning. So what does that mean to you? I have some categories on the slide: family, work, social, even maybe from a distancing perspective. And for those of you who are spiritual, excuse me, these categories are distinct in and of themselves, but they also overlap. So they're integrated in your life, and they actually make up who you are. So I'm wondering, how many of you made New Year's resolutions this year? And then the follow-up question would be, how many of you have kept your resolutions to date? So 50% of adults in the U.S. make them, but only 10% keep them. And what we will talk about today will be more sustainable than a one-night pledge to do something. Because the premise of this presentation is that the skills we use every day as project leaders equipped us to be resilient, encouragers, team builders, and complex problem solvers. So isn't that what the world needs a little more of in these uncertain times? We do what we know how to do, and we put one foot in front of the other, and then we move on. And I don't know about the audience on today's call, but every time I turn around, no matter what part of my life it is today, things just seem to be turned upside down, inside out, and this actually is an upside down house in Poland. So, you know, in order to manage that type environment, I just try to get back to basics and keep it simple and really put one step in front of each other, in front of the other. So this is PMBOK's definition of a project. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. And the key word for me in this definition in bold capital letters is result. Because the world appears to be upside down, topsy-turvy, with not much making sense, how can we as project leaders or just general citizens influence for positive and better results? How can we leverage our project leadership skills for the greater good to positively impact our families, our workplaces, our social connections, and enhance our spiritual lives? So this slide is the result of research by Harold Kushner and Salatis. It was in 2009, so there's more about the evolution of project management beyond this slide, and I'll address that. But this slide is a really good depiction of, in the early 1960s, really we talked about project management from a traditional sense, where it really started to gain definition and have parameters around it, where there was never enough money to plan the project right the first time, but there was always money to do rework for the second and the third and fourth time after deployment. Then we moved into the Renaissance period, which was basically the mid-'80s to 1993, and that was about reactive project management, where, okay, we had project plans and they were built organically, they were fed, they breathed, they grew, and they changed. And then the modern era of project management from basically 1993 to, I will say, it's hard to tell, maybe about 10 years ago. It was labeled by these gentlemen as proactive management because you would bring problems to the surface early so that problems could be resolved. It was like deliver bad news early rather than risk something bad happening at the back end. But bury the problem or not find it, and your job was in jeopardy. So then we moved more toward, we started getting into agile development and Scrum, and that's about inspect and adapt, rapid product development that is vetted with the customer to ensure expectations are met, where we're talking about an open communication loop. It's not about process and documentation as much as it is about people, and the demonstrating to your client so that you get that feedback and can adjust accordingly. So in 2020, we learned how complex the world is. And other lessons that we learned through our recent experiences with COVID are that communication is critical. We've learned that the volume of information can be truly overwhelming, and that the sorting and the filtering of that information for what is accurate takes time. And not only does it take time, but it can be energy draining. And that's similar to a complex project with snarly requirements and maybe multiple or a sponsor or key heads in a corporation that have competing agendas. We learned that politics is prevalent everywhere and in all walks of life. And I think we've also started learning that relationship building is very important. And perhaps being authentic and surrounded by good people you can delegate to get things done is meaningful. So we learned to depend on critical resources, healthcare workers, but we also were told what the term essential meant and what is essential, a need to have or not. And I think now, although our healthcare workers are deemed essential workers, there are other people, all of our jobs are essential to us because we depend on them to feed our families and keep a roof over our head. So I'll say in the old days, and for those of you who have been around the technology environment for a long period of time, it used to be have a very stovepipe orientation, where specialization was key. There was an expert mentality, but that really promoted staying within your boundaries, and it didn't foster a lot of cross-functional communication. So it really prohibited the ability to solve complex problems. It fostered disconnectedness. There was a lack of team orientation, and it really was more oriented to tactical and management style rather than project leadership. So it had more of a bits and bytes orientation. So as we've moved from traditional to Renaissance to modern project management and even to agile adaptation, the expectation of our discipline of project and program management has evolved to be thought about in terms of leadership and not management. And what does that mean? It means that people matter. It means that we're not talking about just the science of managing to scope, schedule, and budget and executing to complete deliverables, but it means the art of project management and an interconnectedness with people.
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.